Take two. Sam Houston Race Park live stream. If you were fortunate enough to be on Facebook ahead of race one, Sarah gave out the winner there. So congrats to her. Boo for me, but was not a part of the pick four. Actually did not wager on the race. Was somewhat tempted to bet the Uno to win, but did not. So that's, I guess, its own success story. But here we are for race number two, start of the early pick four. And I think it's a good one, Sarah.
I do too. I think there's some opportunities to single depending on if you're for or against certain favorites. I think that there's a little bit of an opportunity for a couple of prices in here too. So I wonder what this one will pay. Probably more than my pick four at Gulfstream yesterday.
You did hit turn 9 into 38.
38 something.
Yeah, so a little better than 3-1, which I think if you're betting $9 on any exotic and that's the return, that's pretty solid. You kind of recognize that it's only so much opportunity, and someone like me would have, I'm sure, had a $54 ticket and lost money on it. So I applaud those who are able to be narrow when the sequence calls for it. I am admittedly not so narrow in this one, although I played two tickets. I singled the 2 in here. I singled the 6 in the last, and then I have another ticket where I spread in the last, and then I'm a little narrower in races 3 and 4. So, but to me, the opportunity is everyone's probably going too deep or maybe singling the 1 here. So I do think there's some opportunity leaning on the deuce, and you said you agreed.
I do too. I wasn't really totally sold on the 1. Just a few too many chances for me to take this horse at such a short price. I was definitely much more interested in the 2. In my chat with Jessica earlier on, she had a couple things to say about Miss Americana, who is running later on, who is actually the horse that beat the 2 last time out. However, it was only kind of a narrow margin of defeat, and we do actually have a replay to show for that race.
We do.
As well.
How about that?
And we are
the
working
replay
on
magic.
YouTube.
The replay magic did come through. Is it this one here?
It should be.
You have a
ears back and forth just really quickly, totally comfortable with where she was. So that replay was enough for me to be interested in both of these horses. Now, if the 2 Miss Empirement runs a total dud in here, then it's going to make me think something different about the 4 Miss Americana later on. So lots of clues to pick up on early on in the card.
And who is neither one of us had our PPs. That's unfortunate. Do you know the trainer of the 2?
In here?
Yeah.
Steve.
Oh, it's Mr. Steve?
Mr. Steve.
Oh, Mr. Steve. Yeah, I should have known that. But, well, I asked that. It's a pretty decent barn at Sam Houston. We went through some of those stats last week, especially those who were ready for January. And Steve was kind of more in the camp of they fire a little later in the meet, but still very successful in January. But when I see a performance like that, and you kind of mentioned it up going wide, maybe a little in and out on the track and the stretch run, Steve Asmussen and the people he employs is going to address that.
Of course they are. Absolutely. That's why it makes me interested in this horse as well, because I know with those connections, they see the same thing.
Right.
They have an idea of what's happening. They're going to do something about it, and you can trust that.
And we certainly, there's just other horsemen and women out there that, the numbers aren't as good as Steve's, which many don't have numbers anywhere near his, but you just kind of think, all right, are they really going to address what I saw? 2-4% trainer, maybe not, but with Steve, you kind of do get that hope. And the betting public definitely having a hard time separating these 2, which is why, from a pari-mutuel standpoint, if you feel as strongly as we do about one or the other, even if you disagree with us and what are these people talking about, the 1 is definitely the play. I mean, great for you because you have an opportunity to take a stand against a 6-5 horse, even though you're on the favorite. Using both, though, it just seems like you're basically paying a tax to turn it into a pick three.
Absolutely. So, what is your pick four play in here?
I singled the 2 as well, and then I have 3, 5, 7, 8, 10 in the next, and then one. I have a bunch, and then singled to the 6.
I don't know that one.
And then 2 with 3, 5, 10 with 1, 2, 7, and then spread in the last. So
can we both hit?
I would think so. Let me see.
We have. I upped my base
You got
wager.
both of my A's are there.
Did you up your base wager?
Well, I did it for $1 each, so I could hit it for 2 because it's what is that? $15 for 50 cents, and I think 18. So yeah, I just did it for 2.
All right, cool. Yep, and here I'm taking a stand. I'm singling the 2. In the next leg, I have the 3 and the 5. After that, we have 2, 3, 6. And then in the final leg, we have 2, 3, 7.
Wow. So you tossed the favorite in the last.
I did.
All right. Well, I appreciate that.
Do you? Do you agree with it?
Yeah. I mean, knowing your opinion in the race, I absolutely agree. If you said, well, I'm going to use the 6 just because at 8-5, that's, now at 10-1, if, whether it's me or Josh likes a horse like that, and you say, well, 10-1, I can spend $3 extra and
but
use that.
What about Andrew?
Just wanted to give Josh the shout out since I misspoke his name last week. So they're heading to the gate. Didn't talk about much what we saw on the track, but this mile dirt race, it really does seem like a 2-horse race, and maybe if the 2 gets up to 2-1, actually worth a win bet, but certainly now 3-2, so that's not going to happen. But definitely happy to be leaned on that one.
Me too. And I think she's just the most logical horse in here. I get why people like the 1. It's just not for me. And now she'll win by open lanes. But something to note also in the replay that I showed, the number 3, Suffragette, also comes out of that same race that we watched. She got a little bit more of a wide trip. She was the number 7 in there. But I think that the margin in the end between the second place finisher and her was just enough for me to just single the 2 and leave it alone.
Leave it alone. And I cannot make a case for any of the other 3, which if you can, I mean, because that's a real separate. I mean, in a 5-horse field, the chance to actually have a real separator kick off the pick 4 is pretty unique. But I mean, maybe if you're playing for chaos, you gamble with the rest. But to me, there's no opinion to be had on any of the other 3.
I agree with you there.
That's me, but let's maybe someone in the chat has something else.
The real chat.
Steve Gilfeather did say he votes for Suffragette, which is a clever pun. Not as good as Trail Mix-a-Lot, but solid.
Too early in the morning for that.
It was too early. Yeah, my son was up at 4, so it was an early morning.
I was up at 5.
5's early. Yeah.
I did go to bed at 8:30 though. No. I'm getting really old here in Louisville.
Someone said we should put our name and Twitter info on here, and we actually do have that.
Look at that.
We do have that courtesy of Candace Curtis. So.
Was it Candace who said that we should do that?
Probably. It's her remark with the good ideas. We're just here to
be the faces.
To babble on. All right. Yeah. Well, they are in the gate. We will bid adieu to.
Broke out.
Yeah. There. So that
doesn't really affect either of our choices.
Well, that's good. I mean, if you took a stand, that's good for. At this, the jockeys don't know it, but really, you could let the 4 go on and win because it would get DQ'd.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah, they can. I mean, that horse can't.
I don't think that would be a change at all.
Really?
Really.
Now I hope the 4 wins so I can be right after not being right in the first.
Quarter and 25.
There's a mile. I guess.
I mean, still.
Yeah, that's slow.
That's slow. Yeah, it's a slow pace.
That's slow.
How are you going to handle it that we only have 1 piece of candy left?
It's yours.
I ate a lot today. You can have it.
It's good.
It is. So we have the 1, then the 2.
I mean, no excuse for whoever.
Yeah, really, for anybody at all. Two's starting to move alongside the one, but it's a slow happening.
A slow burn.
A slow boil.
I wonder what the odds ended up being.
I don't know. I could check, but I'm watching the race.
Yeah.
All right,
I will
we're battling it out here. There goes the 2.
That's a good spot.
That is. There she goes.
Fighting.
That 1 is being very game
Very
to the
tenacious.
inside. Getting a little bumping action going on. Need the 2 to straighten up a little bit more.
Oh.
This is really tight.
Wow.
Oh.
That's disappointing.
What?
1 to 2. I mean, it just looked like there were several opportunities for.
Do you think there was any bumping in the lane at all from the head on?
A wise man once said, "Rubbing is racing."
Which wise man was that? You?
No, was not me. Was not me, but it was prescient at the time.
See?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they look at it, but
with such a narrow margin of victory, I think if it happened, they should definitely take a look at it. But I'm not going to make any call on if anything happened.
Seemed like he had a lot of opportunity to go by and
did not.
Yeah.
Well, as I was saying when we watched this replay, this horse was very sensitive to the crop in that race, and you can see even here she's much more professional. However, I think that she was still trying to maybe lug in a little bit. So I wonder if that side to side motion kind of impeded a little bit of forward motion. That's tight.
Almost got a miracle bob, but
I don't
just
know.
never. Yeah.
I don't know as well where the wire is at this track and compared to others. I can usually call it at some other ones. But
yeah, the mirror where it is makes me think.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I want to believe. But,
you're a believer?
Well,
you believe?
When it supports me. Or, I mean, I would prefer not to have lost the pick 4, but
there's still a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance.
They haven't posted anything
That's
yet.
true. Dead heat.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
that'd be like going, well.
They're showing the 1 though, so.
Yeah. Oh, inquiry. That might be into the start though.
I doubt it. Want to bet?
No,
it's not.
You're right. Yeah, look at that.
So Let's do we think the 2 came over on the 1? The 1 kept a clean. Oh, the 2 bumped the 1.
Yeah.
The 1 kind of bumped back. Oh, but then the 1's coming out on the 2.
Yeah,
it's both of them, and then the 1 comes out again, but that's not what they're looking at. Oh boy.
Although I got this summer, I got DQ'd at Indiana Grand because the crop hit the other horse.
You personally?
Well, I didn't own the horse who got DQ'd, but it cost me.
So the horses that we said had an opportunity, they finished 1, 2, 3. I really didn't like the 1. She ran a game race in comparison. But the 2 didn't run so badly that I'd be talked off the 4 later on.
No. Yeah, I mean, it ran.
She ran.
Just got beat.
Yeah.
No.
Slow fractions.
Our buddy CHV had the 1 as a K+, though.
Ooh.
Which apparently is that's the big notation.
That's the way.
Yeah.
Jeff's a smart guy. You printed it out?
I printed it out,
That's very smart.
That's how you learn.
Yeah.
I was interested in new data.
Yeah.
Well, just following along.
So Jeff at Charting Horse Value has some really great charts available that is kind of like some sort of algorithm that he developed on his own that he's been modifying for quite some time. And I would be lying if I said I fully understood how these charts work because I don't.
Always takes time.
But they are very effective. I will tell you that.
Well, and I see that Rye Eichelberry is in the winner's circle, and
he is.
I do believe we have some. We'll get there eventually. We have all this stuff to go over, but among them is the Jockey Standings. This is not updated through Rye's recent win in race 2, but 59% impact after winning 50% of the races he was in. There were only 26 races opening weekend. He was in more than half of those, although some others were a little busier, like Stewie and Lane, and they did not have near the success that Rye did with those 7 wins, 4 other in the money. He's riding well. Got the job done there. As you would expect it 1 to 2, but there's mistakes to be made when you're inside a 3-horse duel, and he had enough horse.
So I wonder what they're looking at. I don't think there's going to be any change since they already took the photo of the 1 Kizzy.
Well, that's just a track photographer trick to sell more photos. Because even if you're DQ'd, the owners are like, well,
they took the inquiry sign away, so I think it'll stand. Oh well.
Rye.
And Stuart Elliott finished second.
Oh.
So 1-2.
1-2
for our top jockey standings. Should we show some of Jess's thoughts on Sam Houston in general? Because she actually talks about Rye as well.
Oh, perfect timing.
Look
All
at
right.
that.
Well, there's your soon-to-be official order of finish in race 2. If you decided to lean on the Uno, 1-2, not great, but you did better than those who doubled up or tried to use them all because it was a short field. So best of luck the rest of the way. Race 3 does start at pick 3, and it will also start our discussion with Jess throughout the night. And which video clip is hers? The first
it
one?
Might be the last one. They have titles on them. It says her like thoughts in general or something like that. So is it that
overall
one?
Hugh thoughts?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right.
It's almost like I labeled them or something to make them easier to find. Any thoughts for anyone playing the sequences this evening or the entire card to give out before we say goodbye?
There have been some live connections. Rye Eichelberry has been super live to start off the season. And these are jockeys always worth watching. Steve Asmussen horses, they're always very live. They're usually a very short price, so you have to pick your spots. You can't bet them all.
Right. Definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm excited to see how the sequence plays out later.
We're excited too. Oh,
that's not fun.
No, sorry about that.
We don't like that.
Kizzy B, $3, 210, 210. Jessica with the thoughts on the card. I know she has a pick 5, which we just have her top picks, but personally, I know people get some flack for this, but those who know a circuit, like I like handicapping. I like, well, this horse makes sense. I'm against this favorite. Those are opinions I definitely feel comfortable having really any track I'm checking into. Someone like Jessica, though, she's playing every day. She looks at these races every day. If she's on a horse, especially in a race I'm already spread and I didn't think about using, I'm, if not just using automatically, definitely taking a second look.
Absolutely. And I think every horse that she ended up talking about with me is one that I wanted to pay more attention to because she's clued into what's going on. And there's a couple races where she does kind of talk about another horse that might be a short price favorite that she's not totally sold on. So you're getting a little bit more information out of her than just her top picks. But we also wanted to keep it short so we're not boring you the whole time. And she's a busy lady and I didn't want to take up too much of her time. I already messed up her logo on there too. And I have her becoming me, which poor girl, she should not. But at least she wasn't becoming you.
No, that would have been worse.
Could have done her much dirtier.
Yeah, she would. No one would appreciate that. So we are actually live on YouTube, which is exciting. So I will say, which we could not say this before, but we would appreciate if you liked the video if you're watching, and subscribe if you're not already on board with Horse Racing Nation. Because when you subscribe, when we mess up again and we have the wrong link and aren't live, when we finally do go live and correct the problem, you automatically get notified.
Absolutely. And it's much easier to find our corrections to our mistakes when you're subscribed to our channel. It was so easy for me to go back in and just click the right one after fixing everything up here. So we appreciate your patience and also your attention.
Yes, thank you for that. So please give us a like, pity like, courtesy like. You wish it could be love, whatever it is, whatever the reason, hit that thumbs up button, smash it, if you will.
Hashtag smash it.
Hashtag smash it. We do appreciate that. So race 3 is another dirt sprint. I'm going to bring this up. I think the first time I did, we weren't on YouTube, and I know that crowd appreciated this info last time. This is what's called the TTT. Some colleagues, friends, colleagues, peers, handicapping savants that Mark Midland and I associate with and some other channels developed this and basically so named TTT after tic-tac-toe because of the grid style. Wish I would have thought of that for my handicapping grid, but now they have it. So nice job. But more importantly, this is the first week at Sam Houston. And if you add up the winners here, you could see there were 20 dirt sprints, all distances. They have 5.5 to 7 furlongs there. And we took a look, or the TTT separates it by post and winning run style. And as you can see with that green bolded rectangle there, big time inside speed doing well at Sam Houston. And as we discussed in that first race, there were a couple races earlier in the meet, opening day particularly, where off the stalkers were winning, which I'm guessing this is one of those closers and a few of these here. So by the time Friday and Saturday hit, Inside Speed must have really blown up because a few of the first winners were definitely not gate to wire. They're 40% of the overall races from posts 1 through 4. And then even some of the outside posts total more than half of the winners wire to wire. So the big question for race 3, which I had a tough time answering, to be honest, is who's going to get the lead?
So I might have an answer for you.
I would
and
love
we
it.
also have a replay to show you about what I
Beautiful.
think my answer is. We've done so much progress with our technology this week to only mess it all up in the very beginning, but we are doing really well to recover. So to me, it seems as though number 3, Lots of Gold, may end up being the speed of the speed in this race. She is going in first time for the tag. She was running at 7 for really get tired there. But
So you're going to have to repeat all of that because the mic turns off when the replay goes on. But hopefully everyone noticed the 7 made the lead when asked, got tired. I'll let you take it from there, why that augurs well for today. I'm not sure why the streaming offers or makes that decision for us because that was very good insight. But for those who just watched that replay, it was number 7 in that video that Sarah was talking about, who is number 3 here.
yes.
And you expect that horse to be on the lead.
I do. And I think that was a very good summary of what I just blabbed on about while we were watching that video. So
It was great.
Thank you for paying attention.
I was very disappointed when I saw the line say, your mic is muted when the video is playing, because I was like, this is like some John Madden stuff here, going over the replay, talking strategy.
Talking about how we're improving our technology, only to bite my words. So.
Right. I've also noticed that the camera appears to be less defined than it was when we weren't working. Yeah. So
maybe it's because we have 3 different streams going on right now. Actually 4.
A lot of action. That's fine though. The information is what's most important.
Absolutely.
And again, that replay, Sarah was trying to show, hey, who's going to get the lead in here based on that? Could be the 3, and based again on the TTT Inside Speed, definitely a big plus. So 2-1 currently the second choice. I looked at the outside horses here. The 7 in my mind definitely fits, as does the 8. But 9-5 and 7-2 respectively. I am pretty happy that I downgraded them from the A column, even though I'm out of the pick 4. But I think there's opportunity in this race because the 2 horses on the outside may be a little up against it based on what we've seen from things like the TTT and some of the other reports that we've discussed available at Horse Racing Nation. I will mention number 10 because that horse is
Queen on the dirt.
30-1, yes, on the dirt. But I just kind of thought needs a little bit of improvement. Definitely don't love the far outside post, but when you're talking about a horse who's 30-1, there isn't much you need to like. And I do think we've seen enough speed or enough final time speed figures from that one that are almost competitive enough. And again, at 30-1, worth a shot in my mind. So unfortunately, this is on me because this is a situation where people say, well, you really can't use the 1 and the 2 in the opening leg of the pick 4, take a stand. Mostly I agree with that. I would have been fine if it comes 2-3. If it's 1-3, I didn't really miss out on anything. But if the 10 wins here at 30-1, and I'm out because I didn't use the 1, that's kind of foolish.
If the 10 wins here at 30-1, I'm going to let you do the rest of this and go home because I have nothing to say about that horse at all. I think that
Well, there's a reason it's 30-1, right?
and I think that Grass Queen might belong on the turf, as some of her turf form suggests in comparison to her dirt form, and it's almost as though that would make sense. So.
Yeah, no, it's a flyer at a big price, but
I've liked crazier long shots.
Yeah, no,
if she wins, I'll eat my words. It's fine.
I will say though, and there's a good opportunity to plug another free product. I don't feel as bad shilling the free stuff because discover the stuff and then we'll bring you into other things. But we do have the ebook. It was available last week, kind of a meat preview. I did update it after week 1 results, and one of the nuggets that I sort of mined about Sam Houston, Sarah, was opening week last year, 2021. If you had bet all the horses who were 10-1 or better, you would have profited, which is kind of humbling because I spend, 5, 10, 15 minutes on a race and can't pick the 6-5 shot. And all you have to do is bet 10-1 horses or higher to come out ahead. That was last year. This year, it made more money, and that was with more races. So I thought that was pretty incredible. Bettors having somewhat of a hard time figuring out some of the long shots, but the favorite percentage was higher
this
year. So what that tells me is if you have your opinion, maybe that, key in on the strong opinions. And then in the other races, especially if you don't like the favorite, which here I would say I do with the 3 at 2-1, but definitely willing to be against the 7 and 8.
Me too.
This just seems like the type of track, especially with that 12% takeout, where take a stand and the long shots will come.
Absolutely. And to come back after my pick 4 started off with a single that didn't win, it was second. I would definitely be interested in just the 3 here. I did kind of like the 9 a little bit before the scratch as a bit of a price play that I talked about on the Who's Got the Action podcast with Andrew. Bingo. But this horse is scratched, and so now I think all of my interest is on the 3, especially now with morning line 6-1 going to 2-1. Somebody else is seeing something. I don't think it's because I talked about it just yet. I don't think I have quite that much pull at this time. So somebody seeing something gives me a little bit more confidence that I see the same things as whoever that might be, and that this horse might run a pretty big race.
Well, Nick and Trey completely disagree with us.
And themselves.
And the morning line, which Nick makes, had the 7 as the favorite, which I agree could happen, and it's going to be close. So I don't bring that up to criticize, just saying that's another option that the public might end up going with that we're against. 3, 5, 10 for me. So obviously going to play the 10 to win at that price, and then see what I can make do with the 3 and 5. The 5, another one of those just kind of figure horses for me that, I knew the money would go to the outside a little bit. So at 7-1, definitely think that is fair in that regard. So dollar pick 3, and I'm pretty much going to run back what I was hoping to be live to in the pick 4. Use a few to get live to the 6, who was my single in race 5. And then use my A's in the next 2 races, which is 3, 5, 10 with 1, 2, 7 with a bunch in race 5, which is pretty competitive. So what are your plans for this race?
For this race, I would either single a 3 or use the 3 and 5, depending on what I wanted to do later on. In the next race, I like the 2 and the 3 still, maybe a little bit of the 6. The race after that is my long shot play of the day to outrun their odds in the number 2
play of the day.
15-1 morning line on the number 2 Malibu Midnight, who actually finished ahead of number 3. Daddy made me do it, the 7-2 choice on the morning line as well. So 15-1 versus 7-2. And the horse that finished ahead of the 7-2 is 15-1. So it's a big interest for me. And then in race 6, which will be the last race that we cover live, I am still interested in the 4 Miss Americana. I gave the 3 Too Much Irish a bit of a look as well. And Too Much Irish is one of the horses that Jess talks about later on for her picks as well.
Looking forward to that. One horse we haven't mentioned at all in this race, talked about the 3, 5 a little bit, 7, 8 being against, 10 for me. The 4, who I really don't have a lot of interest in, admittedly, but my man Mike C. from Houston, who last week had that Braidster first-time starter that I completely poo-pooed, had that one on top. and he had another one at the
Really?
price horses on top. So Mike's seeing the ball well and at his home track. He has the 4 on top, and I didn't get the chance to ask him why, but at 10-1, checks that 10-1 box too. But the Mike C box pretty potent as well. So just wanted to give him some love. He gave out some winners last week that I didn't listen to, and I'm not listening to him here either, admittedly.
Me either,
but at
maybe
10-1,
he needs to be our next guest.
perhaps I am looking forward to seeing him when I'm down there. Let's see here. Disco Partner says the 3 wins for fun.
I think so too.
Now that's Josh.
No.
That's Andrew.
That's Andrew.
Which one's Josh?
Josh is Cherry Drink on Twitter.
Right, but it's not Cherry Drink on YouTube.
I don't know
That's what
his
threw me
YouTube
off.
is.
Oh, On the Wrong Lead,
Okay.
which is his podcast.
There you go.
All right, we're getting it straight. Now we just need to add one more podcast and we'll know it all.
Well, I'm on Ron's podcast tomorrow where
Ron.
we're talking about some weekend races at Sam Houston, Oaklawn, and then one at Aqueduct as well. So everybody's going to get real sick of me this week because that'll be the 3rd podcast that I've done that comes out
Plus
this
the
week.
stream.
Plus the stream. I spent a lot of time in front of a camera this week. So everybody's going to be pretty tired of seeing my face and hearing what I have to say. So
Well, it is a 3-day weekend, so they'll get some time off. The Ron Flatter Racing Pod.
the Flatter Pod.
The Flatter Pod. I like it. All right. I was on last week. I went 0 for 2. Did not get a chance to go for 3 because the race I picked at Sam Houston was canceled. So hopefully you will avenge that. And I believe he's going to have Mark on next week.
Really? He's just swooping through the whole office.
Yeah. And then Mike Shuddy after that for the Pegasus World Cup.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of his super screener. So
There we go.
that'll be worth tuning into. I have been informed there's not a Pegasus World Cup Tapeta. It's just dirt and turf.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like I think bettors are having a hard time getting jazzed about the Tapeta. I think a little of it's overwrought. We've all played Turfway and Woodbine and Golden Gate. Like,
I think it's a lot of silly kicking and screaming.
yeah. So I understand if you want to sit out, but the whole I can't play that stuff. Give me a break. We know you play it. All that said, fine, you want to get used to it, whatever. But this, to me, was an opportunity of, hey, we're going to have a big stakes race on it.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have diluted the turf field or whatever, but you put the purse money up, you get the horses. So
Of course, people go where the money goes.
you're right.
So
Didn't want to turn this into a hot take show, but
no, that's not what we're here for.
No, not what we're here
The
for.
7's favored now.
7's favored, 3 taking a little bit of money, 5 down to 9-2, 10 still a long shot.
30-1.
Turf Queen,
Close. Grass Queen.
Grass Queen. All right. Well, at least Josh knows it's not just him; it's horses too. So. All right. Well, I would, I would say 3, 5, 10. I guess I won't box them because 3, 5 probably not worth it. But 10 to win, and with the 3 and 5, I think that's my play.
Good for you.
You're out. You're not playing a pick 3.
No, I am.
Oh, you are.
I played one.
I like it.
I'll read it to the people.
Read it to the people while I look at some of these comments here.
Awesome.
Mark McGann is on from Liverpool. He has the 8. He's
All
now
right.
favored. He must have just bet. Andrew says the 3 wins for fun, which at 3-1, he's got to be happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Century Mile shout out to friends up north. Definitely always love hitting the tracks in the, I'm sure it's called the Pacific Northwest when it's Canada because it's actually south for them.
I don't know much about
Western Canada. Very happy to see Century Downs get some love. And Andrew wants us to wear name tags. Or he says I need people to wear name tags, which is probably true. Have you been to events lately where people wear name tags?
Well, I used to work in a restaurant, and so I always had to wear a
Right.
name tag that had my name on it. And then I gave it to one of my close friends before I left. So now his name can be Sarah. And maybe he'll
Finally.
be the second Googleable Sarah El Badri.
Because you're the only one.
I am the only
Yeah.
one. Everyone's going to find everything out about me real quick.
You're out there. Yeah.
Sure
Tough
am.
to hide when you're the only one. Well, I ask about the name tags because you go to these like conferences and events and
Mhm.
you always can tell like people like darting their eyes. They don't want you to see them looking at your name tag, but they don't know your name or know what I'm saying?
Not really. I don't go to a lot of
Oh, you
events
haven't.
like that. But since I'm the only Sarah El Badwi, I might not even need to wear a name tag. Everyone will just know.
That's true.
But let me talk about my pick 3 ticket real quick.
Yes.
Just a $1 base wager. One of the great things about Sam Houston. So I'm using the 3 and the 5 to start. I will use the 5 just for a little bit more leverage here, but I do think the 3 wins. Using the 2 and the 3 in the next leg, and then 2, 3, 7 in the third leg. Ticket cost $12. So
$12.
Easy peasy.
12% takeout.
12%. $12, 12%. The 3's not favored anymore. I really like that. I also have a couple win bets on the 3. So
3 is my top pick. 2, 3, 7 in the last, you said?
did I say that? I think I did. I did say that. That is what I said, because I have my 15 to 1, and then I have the 3 and the 7 in there as well. But that was one of those races where I was like, I just don't really love anybody, so I'm going to go with the horse that's a bigger price.
All right. Well, let's see. What do we got here? So this pace report mentioned earlier, this is for race 3, a little more heated than the last 2, which that last race was 25 seconds to the half. But just, again, kind of showing like, okay, slow pace. If someone gets on the front end, what can they do with it? And looking at the TTT gate to wire, definitely the way to go. And as you walked us through that replay, so the reason I showed just the start of that, because we don't want to lose you, but the 7 who is pressing on the outside is the 3 here, and you're hoping similar tactics today.
I think so. I think this horse will end up being either close to just like she was, or may end up being speed of the speed. And with half a furlong less, I think that she'll have enough for the end in this one. It sucks that we can't hear ourselves when we play those replays so that I can tell you what's going on and why I put that up. But that's the gist of it. And we'll either recap beforehand or after or both.
Well, and hopefully fix that for next week.
Hopefully.
Figure out how we can do the voiceover.
Hey, but at least we have replays now. We're doing pretty well.
It's awesome. I love it. Was there heading to the gate? Want to give a plug to Sam Houston's big stakes day coming up in a couple weeks, I guess 16 days from today. But nominations close on my birthday, January 19th. So get your nominations in. If you want to get me a sweat percentage for my 42nd birthday, I will accept. But as you can see, a 6-pack of stakes, Sunday afternoon racing, certainly a fun day down there, and a great chance for the Houston peeps to see some graded stakes races.
Definitely. And I already know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Oh, well, that's exciting. 6 days away.
6 days away.
If you want to get me something, Skyline gift certificates, I do believe, are available.
I think I know what you need for your birthday.
Oh.
You need a drink koozie.
A drink koozie.
From Stable Duel, which is
Get
a
on it,
competition
Bree.
I'm playing right now for the Sam Houston $10 competition. I don't remember off the top of my head all the horses that I put in there.
Surely use the winner of the first.
Surely I did. That's good. I did do that. I also used the 3 in the second race for a little bit of a cheaper horse to throw in there. With
cheaper horse and a short field too.
Yeah, so points for that. So as soon as this updates, I can see how I'm doing. I'm in 33rd place.
And Sam Houston, a very good friend to the contest scene, and you and I cannot play on Derby Wars, but for those who are interested going forward in testing their contest chops, don't forget that is another wagering option. Friends of the HRN program, they are, and a few games on there tonight that I actually would have enjoyed playing, because I bet the pick 4 and that's been it. I haven't been able to live bet much, which is why contests are great really for whatever you're doing, but pick and pray and a lockdown, as Derby Wars calls it, and could have been done with it. So always good to know all the wagering options.
Absolutely. And that's something that I think is so important about this game, is that all of these options exist. And if you're a real true horse player with a lot of the itch to gamble, you're going to play them all. You're going to do your regular bets. You're going to, on whatever wagering platform you use, whichever one of your choice, you're going to play in those competitions, whether it's Stable Duel, Derby Wars, horse tourneys, whatever the case may be. You might do all of them at the same time. So all of those options are available to you, and all of your funds can go into places where you might make the most bang for your buck. So
Well, bang for my buck is 45-1 on the 10. So absolutely a win wager for me on that horse. And again, which in this case, it would be a $20 bet if you put $5 on each, but there are 4 horses in here. 10-1 or higher, which is a flat bet profit in week 1. I'm eager to see if that continues. And it seems like the Outrider pony has been back and forth from the gate the most. Looks like we're finally getting a load here, though. Any parting thoughts?
If the 10 wins, I'm leaving. This would be the first of the week. The horses I think have absolutely no shot to win.
Wow. Well, I did say the same last week about that Braidster first time starter.
Yeah, she wasn't 45-1.
Yes. Well, that's 12-1.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 13.
Mike C picked on top though. 3 now the favorite, which I don't know. I mean, 2-1 for the reasons we like. I think 2-1 is probably the floor, but I do think that's not unfair. So 10 now down to 30-1. Not my money. That was already in.
You have time.
No, I bet.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, I'm in. I'm in on the 10. Yeah, 10 to win, and then with the 3 and 5, maybe shoot some fireworks there as they load up for race 3. Pick 6 up next in race 4. Pick 5 in race 5. But before that, pick 3 time. Good luck. We can actually still talk, but I just wanted to wish everyone luck.
I didn't know if you were going to put up an exciting graphic or something new for the meantime during this
I was
race.
thinking though while I did that,
they're off.
Perhaps the end around is instead of the clip being loaded in the stream software, we just have to share screen with it somewhere else.
Okay. We could do that eventually. You could invite me as a guest and I could do it on one of them while I talk about it. But in here, the 3 is on the lead, like I said. So I've given you valuable information, whether or not she wins. I said something would happen, and it is. Is she alone on the lead? She is.
I would definitely say alone.
I didn't know if there was another horse to the outside.
Look how smooth that 10 is, though.
Where? Oh. Yeah.
Already scrubbing.
Yeah, it's not for me. I think she belongs on the grass, like her name suggests. So,
they knew.
We'll see what happens here with the 3, though. I think that the make it or break it moment was in the stretch last time, and these fractions are still a little bit slower than they were last time, but legitimate enough. I'll see if she backs up or not, if she has any punch at all to the lane, and it's looking like not really.
No. Yeah,
that's that. So then here comes the 7 and the 8. I think 8 will get it.
You think so?
I do. I think it'll be just in the nick of time. Well, maybe not. Probably not. Never mind. 7 wins.
5
for
to
Steve.
2. Wow, the 3 ended up at 7-5. Which,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely a little lighter than I would have wanted had I bet.
She backed right up out of there.
Yeah, that was. That was definitely the trip you would have wanted if you backed her.
Right. She got everything I wanted out of that. She just didn't have it. I think she needs to shorten up even more. Honestly. Not much more to shorten.
I was going to say, was that 6 or
6.5?
Yeah,
so she could do 5.
There's still
and a half.
opportunity then. And what was the class? That was claimers though. So yeah, probably running out of some options, but
yeah. I mean, also, was she off a little bit of a layoff or no? No,
not sure.
Oh, she was. Okay, she was. Yeah. So maybe next time. But 7, 8, much the best in comparison to the rest of this field. Who's third?
Long way back. Was it Mike's? Mike's 4?
It was. Yeah. Well, he's pretty sharp.
Yeah, way back though. Someone had to be third.
Well, I mean, the 10 finished ahead of the 3, so.
Oh, so the 3 really packed it in, huh?
Yeah, really stopped.
Well,
I said she was going to go to the front. She did. And that's all I have to say about that.
From there, didn't take care of business, but that certainly happens.
These wonderful YouTube people missed me give out a winner in the first race. So sad. It's probably the only one for the night.
Nah.
No, we have a ways
Who'd
to
you
go.
pick? We're both on the 2 here, aren't we?
We are. G's a little crazy. Do you know any G's in your life?
James Scully, who I used to work with at Bristnet, his wife is Gigi.
Okay.
So
Is she crazy?
No.
Good.
very very astute. Does some political work. So
Wonderful.
well heeled.
Cool. I don't know any G's.
None.
I don't think so. There was a man named Mr. G that used to come in as a regular in the Texas Roadhouse that I worked at way back in Worcester, Massachusetts, that he probably still goes. And he was an interesting character. But he used to be a teacher, so that's why the Mr. G.
So there's regulars at Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, absolutely. There's regulars everywhere.
Interesting.
You're a regular at Skyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it. Well, was he a regular bar or like he would come?
Oh, he would come sit at the bar. But there were people that were regulars that would go sit at a table too. Just different people. Yeah.
Peanut shells on the floor?
Yep.
Even in COVID?
Yeah. Well, I didn't work there during COVID, so actually I don't know. I can't say that for a fact or not.
Oh.
So don't take me up on that one. But I noticed that the Texas Roadhouse headquarters are here.
The call center at the very least.
Call center.
Yeah. I don't know how all that works, but yeah.
What do you think about Texas Roadhouse?
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
I like it better than Logan's.
Logan's? What's that?
Roadhouse.
Oh.
Yeah. That ilk.
Okay. Is there a Longhorn near here?
There is a Longhorn in Louisville, yeah.
Okay. Because that's a part of the other company that I used to work for, which is Darden, which is Olive Garden.
Olive Garden. Red Lobster.
Yep. That's a part of it too.
Bahama Breeze.
Yep. There's another one. I think it begins with a Y.
Yamaha?
No.
No.
Yeah, lots of restaurant experience. Good, bad, ugly. But thoughts and prayers?
Josh definitely is pro peanuts.
Great.
And C-Money says peanuts are immune to COVID.
Are they?
So that's why it's okay to just throw them
Science.
on the floor. Well, it's the grooves.
Oh.
Yeah, COVID-resistant peanut grooves. So that's the key there.
Do you ever think that was a sentence that you'd be saying?
Yes, I actually rehearsed that.
Is that what you were doing in your office?
That's what Trail Mix-a-Lot came from, yeah.
All day he sits in there, and I have no idea what's going on with him. And then he comes out with these hilarious jokes for later. So we actually really didn't chat that much today.
No.
We're saving it all for right now.
Saving it all for now. Have not saved any winners. You have one. I have 0. But it's only 3 races in.
We have time.
And it's the pick 6. I feel like if you're going to string them together,
now
why not for the Space City 6?
You like the favorite in here?
Probably not. No, I don't like the 6.
I don't like the 6.
I'm 217 or 271. I guess 7 if the odds hold. But.
Yeah, I'm 236. I do have a replay for the 1 though.
Oh.
And
why don't you tell us about it first?
That's the plan. So since you won't be able to hear me while we show the replay explaining what's going on, I believe that she is actually the 1A in the replay that we're about to show. She's also the 1 in this race, Racy JC. The race that we're going to be showing is from the 30th of December at Delta Downs, and I'm showing the break to around the first turn. And the reason why I'm showing this race is just because this is an example of needing to watch a replay because the form isn't telling you everything about what's going on in a race. And I feel as though this is a moment where she's getting into a lot of traffic trouble early, and I think that this is a horse that wants to sit a lot closer than she was able to. She kind of had a little bit of a bobble step right at the break, and then she ends up behind a wall of horses. She's really pulling, and I think she just quits after that. So it'll be interesting to see where she's placed this time, but we can go ahead and roll that and see if our viewers can see what I see.
And we're talking about the 1 in this race,
who I believe
was
is the 1A.
The 1A, and what we're about to see. All right.
So I totally lied. She's actually the plain 1 in this race.
The plain 1. So easy to remember.
1-1.
1. You know what John McGarry calls that?
No.
A couple of breadsticks. Because 1-1. I think John's a great announcer. I think he's one of the underrated ones out there. But
how about it? Anyway, let's roll the replay.
Number 1. In this race, number 1 we're about to watch.
She's raising her head. And we're back.
We're back.
That was it. That's all I had to share. I'm trying to explain to Ed by pointing it out on the screen of what's going on. Did you see it?
I saw it.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Great. I did my job.
Definitely not. I mean, I hate that start for any horse. So, I mean, It makes sense when you see it. Like, okay, this isn't going to be their race.
Right. And then she gets the crossover, gets a little bit of kickback, and then I think she kind of just ends up quitting. So I'm looking for a better performance this time out from her. And even though the replay knowledge in the last race didn't really help us pick a winner whatsoever, that horse totally backed up out of there. It did help me determine this horse wants to be on or near the lead. She did set the pace.
Which is a positive, typically.
Right. She did set the pace. After that, I was totally wrong, but figured something out from the replay that you might not have seen when just in the form. So tools to add to the handicapping tool belt.
I like it. I'm going to show it one more time.
Okay.
Because it was short.
It was short.
All right. Again, this is the one in this race, also the one in the replay we're about to watch.
One more time. And so
we're back.
We are. I was just going to say, when you're talking about 15, hurry up. When you're talking about $15,000 claimers, I think that it's fair to say that once something like that happens, even the slightest inconvenience, these horses might not be running their race that day. So I think it was kind of over for her after that, and we'll see what happens here. And I really like that she's right now 7-1 on the morning or on the live odds compared to her 5-2 morning line.
Much better.
Absolutely, makes me much more convinced to play her in here because I really don't like the 6.
No, me neither. 8-5. I mean, I had as a B and talk about this a lot. Like, oh, you have every horse on your grid. I mean, you just never know who's going to get bet. And the grid helps you sort of be amble. Like maybe the 6 gets ignored and at 8-1 to use an extreme. Like, okay, yeah, I can make a case. Or not saying would be my top pick, but in a pick 3 at 8-1, I would use a B in that situation. But I'm basically assuming the horse is not going to be the price I'd want, and at 9-5 favorite in the B column, it's just an automatic toss. So when people see all those horses, there is sort of the step in play where, okay, now we're legends to make. So pick 6, you're against the favorite in race 5. I'm against the favorites in races 7 and 8. So I am actually pretty keen to take a shot in this pick 6.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, and I don't like the favorite here either. So that to me is, I call it insanity insurance. I love the pick 5, 12% takeout. Pick 6 is 12% too, but you start to get into some pretty unwieldy tickets with that 6th race. But when I look at my grid and say, oh, I can play all my A's for less than I typically wager when I have a strong opinion. To me, that's kind of where the gambling comes in. Is all right, maybe not the most optimal approach to structuring tickets, but it's the pick 6 and it's my day and I go all A. I don't want to not have it.
That's fair enough. We do like the same horse in here as our top picks to start off the sequence. I guess we should talk about her since we haven't yet and horses are in the paddock. Number 2, G's a little crazy. We did talk about the G's. We did talk about that.
We name handicap, but we didn't actually get into
talk about the horse.
And this is the one where I had the pedigree angle, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
What pedigree angle?
About the sire.
What about him?
We'll go on with what you were going to say.
Oh, well, I was going to say I don't really have a ton of pedigree angles for this one, so I'd love to hear what those are. But this horse is a little bit turfy. She's only tried the dirt 3 times, one of which was at Sam Houston, and that was a situation where she did win at 5 furlongs. She's got Stuart Elliott riding, trained 24% off 180-day plus layoff. She has a bullet 2 back at Remington. I just think there's a lot to like about this horse. And I thought that she might end up floating up in odds, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening. But that's okay. And 2-1 is something I would take on a horse like this that I feel as though is my top pick and yours. And if we both agree, sometimes we're right.
Sometimes. Well, we were right a couple times after we went off the air last time. So that might be the angle for the late pick 3. But and it wasn't pedigree per se, with this one. Wicked
Okay.
Strong jogged my memory, and that's why I was thinking pedigree, but more the surface thing that you talked about, just whether it's looking at the PPs, paper handicapping, it kind of stuck out, but then on the sheets, it was really glaring, but the dirt effort's super strong. And, in my mind, solid enough to, I don't want to say lay over the field, but 2-1, probably getting into territory. Wouldn't want much lower than that. 1 and 7, both decent. But, to me, the opinion at this point is beating the 6.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's going to be something that's too difficult to do. You could say that maybe she didn't like the sloppy surface last time out. She was coming second off the layoff, but that race didn't really inspire me that much, enough to be taking in this field. I think that I'd rather give a chance to a horse that is coming fresh in off the layoff to see what they have to offer, rather than one that kind of just didn't really do it for me last time out.
And I am encouraging people to check out that ebook, which has various stats from opening week, as well as a refresher on what happened last year. But that is free at Horse Racing Nation, so check that out. And it's also free to hit the like button. So hopefully people are doing that.
You can like us for free.
Yes, appreciate the thumbs up. It definitely helps the channel and helps us feel better about, me being 0 for 3. Sarah does have a winner
in my competition.
What did your
Deep dive.
What did your first race winner pay? Are you ahead?
I didn't bet on that one because we were figuring
No,
out
but
our
I mean just
technical
from
difficulties.
theoretical
top
pick. Yeah, because if
I
we paid
know.
$6, you're even for the day still.
I guess I would be for my $2 ROI. Let's find out. $4.80.
Not there yet then. So we need a winner here. Trey's on the 1, Nick's on the 3.
Everybody has the 2 second.
Who is Mike C's pick.
All right.
2 just took a bunch of money. Now 6
it's
to 5.
all of the people in our chat.
Must be. Well, that 10 dropped from 45 to 1 to 30 to 1.
Should we see what's going on with our people?
Yes, our peoples.
Our people.
On the wrong lead actually has a question.
Really?
Yes.
What is it?
Josh asks, since the daily double, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5 are all the same takeout, do you still gravitate toward the pick 5 at Sam Houston Race Park?
What do you think?
And my answer to that is yes, in part because I think from a parimutuel standpoint, a lot of players have become sort of the creatures of habit of playing that bet. So in my mind, okay, who's coming to Sam Houston? Is there money that I'm smarter than, or, I think I am anyway. And if so, I think the pick 5 is still the bet they're going to go to. So for someone who quasi follows Sam Houston, certainly this year has, to me, that's the pool where I can exploit people who may not know as much as me, maybe just playing numbers, playing the very logicals.
They should be playing all the 10 to 1 shots or higher.
That's
They'd be
true.
making much more money
I don't know how
than
that
we
works
are.
in the multi-race wagers.
Right, it doesn't.
For today, but it only doesn't take many. So yeah, for that question, I would say still pick 5. Plus, I'm comfortable with it. I do like that the pick 6 is 50 cents instead of 20. It's non-jackpot. But to me, that's just more, again, without either carryover or some real strong opinion that I'm just going to hang my hat on and really push it versus the pick 5. To me, that's more like action, and I can put $24 into it and maybe win like 6,000-7,000. I mean, that'd be awesome. But
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, very low risk, high reward situation. So pick 5 for me. Last thought I have before having you answer is the pick 3 is $1, and I think that is a big. To me, it's a big benefit to playing the pick 3 versus other tracks. Naira's $1. I think we saw Keeneland with their all turf pick 3 for $5. Mm-hmm. What that does to the pool.
I thought it was 3.
Oh, 3. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just it makes it more difficult. It's a different type of challenge, and if you have some acumen, you can take advantage of those who don't. So $1 pick 3, not quite the 3, but I do think, to me, I definitely look at, okay, is it better to play $1 pick 3 or the 50-cent pick 4? And I feel like if you're able to beat a favorite in the pick 3, you're much better off going that route than, in a pick 4, where if you have 2 favorites, something like that. So it does depend, but with the $1 pick 3, I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. And I think my answer on that question would just be, it really depends on what your opinions are and where they are and what sort of value that you can find. Whereas if you're playing a double a daily double, you might want to up your base wager so that you make a little bit more of a profit depending on what your opinions are and what the odds of those horses are. If you're playing that dollar pick three, if you can beat a favorite somewhere, you can kind of figure out where you want to start that pick three and in what race. If you're playing the pick four versus the only pick five, not the early or the late, but the only pick five that is offered at Sam Houston, what that ticket looks like in comparison to your opinions in other races. So I think for me, who is still someone that's not quite as well versed in the multi-race wagers and is still learning all the tools in my arsenal to be figuring those out, because most of what I do is visual observation, race replays, watching the horses warm up ahead of time, just flat win bets for a really long time. And as I sort of evolve my own handicapping, which is something that I talked about in my podcast with Andrew for Who's Got the Action, we're never going to forget their names after this. Then it's something that I feel a lot more confident playing, maybe upping my base wager, making those skinnier tickets that I have been making and feeling confident about those picks, because I think that's kind of something I'm becoming a little bit more known for, at least in the Twitter sphere, of making these super skinny tickets that do fairly well.
The good thing with this, even when it's a low paying, relatively to what we think about a pick four, when you're skinny, you're always ahead. Whereas,
Right.
like I said, I definitely have a leak. Talked about it with Jason Beam when I do my year-end results, just like, whether it's the caveman approach or just spreading too much when I had an opinion that really didn't require that many horses, and you're just betting against yourself in that situation. So definitely hoping to pick up some positive habits in that regard. Pace report again, slowest pace projected of the day. We get some hot paces in that late pick four, but for now, to start off the pick six, super slow pace here. So, again, maybe being able to get on the lead, 5.5 furlongs, to me, that's a definite benefit. And cycling through this, there's what I was looking for, the shipper stats. Lone Star and Delta, not great. And we do have a few horses in this race who are shipping from those outposts, including, geez, a little crazy. The mitigating factor there in my mind is Mindy Willis, as we take a look at this is trainer standings, but last week we had a in January focus of trainers. Gustafsson was high up there. He won some races last week. Mindy was another one of those who does have them ready to fire. And to me, that somewhat balances out the negative Lone Star stat from last week, because you have a trainer who, based on the stats last year, points for January, had good numbers with her January starters, several of which last year had been laid off from Lone Star. So this fits her profile or Barnes' profile. She gets Stewie Elliott up. Definitely understand why the two's taking money here in addition to the dirt surface that we talked about earlier.
Are you sure it's not just us?
I'm pretty sure it's not us. I would love to say that we've, myself included, the success to move the board, but until we have a few in a row, that money probably isn't flowing yet. But did think it was interesting. Lone Star kind of low. It was higher last year. Remington, impact wise, a little lighter, but way more starters this year than last year, even as a percentage of all starters.
It looks like we might have a late scratch report in this race. It looks, don't quote me on this, as though it might be number 3, Kitty's Queen, who is being led around right now, riderless. But my rider might hop back up. I don't want to call that before it's happening. But
just took some money. So, yeah, usually when the rider's off, that's an interesting sign. But I'm sure they're hoping for a better run than Grass Queen.
So many queens. I'm going to have to get you a tiara.
A lot of queens. Scepter, I prefer. Didn't that come up last week? Yeah.
It's not going to be your birthday present.
No, it's too bad.
Sorry.
I guess is still running. Give her leg back up.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. Where is she?
Why wouldn't they show that? I feel like that, looks like pan out a little bit.
There'll be an announcement if it's happening, and if it's
we wouldn't hear it though.
Well, it'll be on the board.
It'll be a scratch on the board, Breeders' Cup style.
Don't bring that up.
Yeah,
it's a very sore subject.
That was rough.
It sure was.
Alex C wants to know if the pick 6, Bay City 6, is a jackpot, and it is not. not a jackpot.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is wonderful. So
Another great thing about Sam Houston.
Yep, and on the wrong lead, weighed in there as well. So appreciate everyone having that knowledge. Yeah, the pick six not being a jackpot, which I should have mentioned that the litany of wagers they have at a 12% takeout. If it, the way Churchill does it is fine. 15% takeout, 90% payback. What ends up being taken out with the jackpot included is still less than the pick four in California or New York. So that's palatable. It's when you get into the 30, 40% going to the jackpot instead of just 10 that you're not really playing for as much as the pick six would lead you to believe. That's not the case here, though, because it's not a jackpot. So if you pick six, you're going to get paid about $5,700 in the pool right now. 1% of that is mine. My ticket's $54, and I did start things off with the 1, 2, and 7 here. So slight, I guess, lean against two horses taking money, quasi stand. But I will say the 7 at 9-1 definitely. A little surprising. I wouldn't be shocked if that one comes down a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say that horse is one of the ones that kind of stood out to me when they were walking around. We did see the 3 behind the gate with the riders still off last time we were able to see the horses. So I don't know what now the tack is off. So I'm thinking that is going to be. I call that quick.
You did. I was getting kind of nervous. Like, oh, Sarah's saying we're going to have a CHRB situation.
Scratched.
There it is.
There it is.
Late change. It's all there now.
No queens
no
here.
Denying that. Kitty's queen.
Do you like cats?
I have a cat.
Well, do you like it?
I mean, I love my cat.
Okay.
I feel like cats are definitely more. There's more of a range.
Yes.
Like dogs are great. Like that's just
it.
Yeah, dogs are dogs, but cats. I would say maybe a benefit of that though is maybe a wider range of personality types. You can have a cat and not actually like pets. Like if it's a total loner, just nice to know someone's in the house eating mice. But if you want a companion, maybe a little more hit or miss.
That's fair. I've never been a huge fan of cats in general, and I think that I'm like one of the only people in the queer community that hates cats. And I wouldn't say that I hate cats, but I kind of hate cats.
Right. Oh, was that? I was not aware.
It's kind of a stereotype thing.
Really?
Which I can say because I'm a member.
Right. I don't mind asking questions about it, but I actually did not know that.
I'll find a TikTok for you about it.
Oh. I mean, you hear the crazy cat lady stereotype.
Right. Oh, that's
and then,
a whole other
the older
thing.
single guy, what's this dude doing with cats? But
like 10 cats.
Right. But no judgment, of course.
No. Whatever works for you.
That's
right.
I love my cat.
Yeah, everybody should love their pets that they have. I love my dog. She's over there somewhere.
That was quite a coming out party for your dog last week. There were some people watching the stream didn't know
just
you had
for Cora.
one.
Yeah, I know. This is surprising information for a couple of people. So, oops. Sorry.
All right. Well, last chance here for people to jump in
last chance to wager.
My last chance to actually get this bet in that I said I was going to make.
Go. They're loading into the gate. You still have time to wager.
It's going to be close.
Have you ever thought about calling a race? Like for real?
I've thought about it.
Have you thought you'd be good at it?
I have thought I don't like my voice, so I just kind of feel like it would crack a lot.
I'm going to move your mouse off.
Oh, please do.
And then go back to us when they
No, I'm going to be out of time.
Hurry up.
I have to deposit too.
Oh, come on, Ed.
I know.
You didn't plan ahead at all.
Well, I was hoping I'd hit the first race and then I didn't bet.
Is he going to make it? Oh,
well,
the race is on.
Pick 5 funds.
Pick 5 funds. I guess we should turn the
I better turn this off. Yeah, we don't want to be scofflaws. So.
Well, exciting news. We'll have some of Jess's thoughts for the pick 5
that's
coming
right.
up. And I also put together a small fake ticket of all of her top picks as well. I'm going to move your mouse off of our faces.
Do it.
Should we put our names back up?
Oh, yeah.
Who's really driving the boat?
Hooper drives the boat.
Yeah, that's a good horse. Right now, the one, Racy JC, is on the lead. That's the horse we showed our replay for, how she kind of got shuffled back and ended up taking a bunch of kickback, and her race was kind of over it in that one. And now here she is on the lead. I don't think she's going to win this race, but she is running a much better race than she was last time. So that's important. And now the 2 is coming up. We got the 6 on the inside fighting on, hoping the 2 can go overtake the
no
6. We don't want the 6. Come on, 2.
How about the 7?
Come on, 2. We want the 2. Because I have a win bet on the 2.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Come on. Yay! We
There
did
it
it.
is.
We
We
gave out
did
a
it.
winner. Congratulations.
Yes.
The favorite?
Hey.
Hey, win's a win.
Let's see.
So I've given out 2 winners. One of them was missed by all of our YouTube people because we couldn't get it together.
Oops.
But
Facebook
knew about that one.
You have 2 winners on the book.
Out of 4 races.
Not the
so
favorite.
50%.
Second choice.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
Love it. All right. So, number 2.
50% on the day.
That's right.
That's
and
right.
Probably 1080. So you're ahead.
Yay.
I'm getting
You didn't
there.
get your bet in, so
I know.
that sucks. Much sad.
And I can't root against myself because I'm going to play the pick 5.
Of course you are. You have to now.
Right. Now I have funds.
There you go. Did you place a win bet?
No, I didn't
You
do.
just deposited with your account over there?
Well, and by the time the deposit went through, they were off. So I knew I had no shot. Yeah, poor form by me.
We all make mistakes.
Played those pick 4s. Should have deposited.
Hopefully.
Or I guess what I should say I should have done
win earlier.
was hit the pick 5 at Mahoning this week. And then I would have money in my account.
That was a tough one for you, wasn't it?
So
sucks.
That's on me. You got to plan. It's fun. It's nice to give out winners, but part of the game is having your account stocked. So shame on me.
That's fine. I took a big dive with my account earlier, and I just played a small win bet on the 2 there, and so that I can kind of gear up for a small ticket for the pick 5, which we have a lot of more information available to us thanks to Jess for that. So hopefully she can help us out with some winners because it seems like we might need it, especially you.
Always happy to get Jess's thoughts for sure. We'll wait for this to go official, then I'll bring that up, and I'll bring this up for now.
Can you believe that we agreed on something and it worked?
I can believe it. Yeah. So we're up to 50 plus people watching somewhere, so we appreciate that. Again, please, if you're new to the stream, hit that like button, the thumbs up. We appreciate it.
We do. Hashtag smash it.
Yeah, kind of gives you that rush.
And thank you for all those new people tuning in. So far, I guess we should give a little recap of what's happened. I gave out the winner for the first race, number 5, on only Facebook, not YouTube, because we were not set up yet. So some people, it just didn't happen. To other people, they saw something really cool. For the next 2 races, we did not do so hot. But then we both gave out the winner for this last race.
Yeah, we did.
Number 2.
Not the favorite.
Not the favorite. 2-1. G's a little crazy. So good for us.
So we were on board the deuce here. Came together for that one. Stuart Elliott up. He's had a good night. I think 2 wins in 2 seconds.
Something like that.
Yeah, 2 wins for sure. 660. But we diverge here in the 5th, start of the pick 5.
We do.
And I mentioned that because Sentient asked, how strong do you think the 6 is as a single next race? I was willing to single in my pick 6. For the pick 5, I'll have multiple tickets. I would say 50% of my play will go through the 6, though, here in the 5th.
Really?
You're totally against.
Totally against. And the reason for that to me is this horse ran fairly well stretching out, there was a really good race. I think it was 2 back for this horse. And then now she's stretching out for the first time. And there's a huge drop in class for me in this race, coming in to now be in for the $25,000 claiming tag. And I think I wrote in my notes here, sus. So it's a little suspicious to me. I wonder what that's all about. Maybe she just totally overlays this field and is the best of the best. But the fact that that's happening, it raised a couple of questions to me. And so I kind of want to take a shot against with my long shot play of the day to outrun their odds in here. And this horse is the one that I'm feeling most confident about as a long shot. It's going to be the number 2, Malibu Midnight, morning line 15-1.
The 2 again.
The 2 again.
You know what I call that? Double?
Not breadsticks.
No. This one's mine too, not John's.
What is it?
The ballet double.
Why the ballet?
2-2.
Bye. See yourself out.
I am going to let the Apollo broom sweep me off stage with that one to the restroom, but we do have Jess. When it ends, you'll be on.
Great.
And then I'll just slide back in.
Okay.
You can handle that though, right?
I mean, I already had to control a lot of the mouse earlier, so I think we can make it happen. But we'll get some of Jess's thoughts on the 5th race coming up, which starts the pick 5, the only pick 5, not the early pick 5, not the late pick 5, but the only pick 5.
Pick 5.
The pick 5 at Sam Houston, low 12% takeout, right? For all of all of it. Yeah, that's a true fact. So, you want to head out?
Take it away.
Take it
all
away.
Right.
I have thoughts. It's a really solid card. I thought this one was fun to handicap. Race 5 starts out on the turf, and there aren't a ton of turf races at Sam Houston, but there are some good ones. And somehow I just went full screen here. Let me see if I can get out of. There we go. Back to normal. Technology outwits the elderly over here.
Well, it's outwitting me over here.
So this race is pretty interesting to me. I think there might be a little bit of value to be had. I like the 5 Haley's Melody. First time on the turf, has enough pedigree, you can make sense. She's by a son of Into Mischief out of an aptitude mare. Sure, she'll go along on the turf. I think that's reasonable. And I like that she has a ton of speed. If that speed translates to the turf, this is a turf course that I have found plays very favorably to front runners. So the question mark is going to be if, but at 6-1, I think she's more appealing than the 9-5 favorite here.
I agree with you. I'm against the favorite in here as well.
So you have both Jess and I against the favorite in that race that's coming up. Ed is interested in the favorite, number 6, Magical Soul. I have my long shot pick in here, the 2, Malibu Midnight, that I'm very interested in. Jess picked a really great winner last week that ended up being the They Knew of Sam Houston so far, from what I've seen in the number 5, Izunami, I think his name was. Totally got bet down. I was a little skeptical of this horse, but as she had said last week on Thursday, she was like, this debut was a little bit too bad to be true. And this horse was just making a second start, laces for the first time, and totally ran so much better. So she's got a lot of really great opinions. She is very knowledgeable about so many different things in the industry. She's very knowledgeable about Sam Houston. My mistake in giving out the information that she would be on track doing their own live stream at the moment. That is not happening this week, but she does have an episode coming up on the Win Place show with Matthew DeSantis, which is kind of where I started my on-screen time in the horse racing community. So Matthew's a great guy. Jess is going to be giving out some ideas for Saturday at Sam Houston on there. I think that episode drops tomorrow. So someone that's, got a lot of information to share. There's definitely a voice in the industry that's pretty on the ball about what's going on and has a lot more success there than Ed and I at the moment. So very interested to see what she has to say about things coming up as far as Sam Houston, either Friday or Saturday, but really a privilege to get some of her ideas going forward for the rest of tonight's card. And I'm going to show a small pick 5 ticket that I put together just with her top picks that we talked about. So I'll get that up for you right now. Maybe there it is. You have her top picks for the rest of the races at Sam Houston with the pick 5 coming up. She's on the number 5 in this race. She likes the 3 in the next race, Too Much Irish, who is not going to be the favorite. In the race after that, like 3 of the pick 5, race 7, she's very interested in the number 7 horse, Texas Ascot Queen, who is 10-1 on the morning line with Lane Leslie riding. So a little bit of a long shot play if the odds hold up for that one. In race 8, she likes number 6, Last Rue. This is the race where she said that she was eating chalk. This horse is the favorite, 7-5. To me, makes a lot of sense in here as a possible single. She felt the same way. So hopefully we're both right about that one. And to close it all out, race 9, she is very interested in the number 8 horse, Time to Meddle. Talks a lot about the pedigree for this horse, which will show the clip of that conversation a little bit later on. But she said that it would be a little bit enticing to take the horse in the number 6, Masabi, or some of the others in here, but that she was very interested in the 8 and being her top pick. So those are the thoughts from Jess that we have to share this evening. And I'm going to follow suit with you and take a quick break while you talk.
I can do that.
You can.
So she's on the 5 here.
She is.
I'm on the 6.
And I like the 2.
You like the 2.
What does Jeff think?
Mike likes the 8.
Okay.
Jeff likes the 3.
Okay.
So
maybe you want to hit that. No, you don't want to hit that all button, but
who's that leave? The 1?
the 1, the 7. We haven't really talked about the 7.
7 is
The
4-1.
The 7 is a horse that I would include in some multis possibly. Gastown.
I like that name.
That's a fun name.
Yeah,
I like the 25-1 out of the 2 right now too. Who actually finished ahead of the 3.
And as we learned from your article earlier this week, no favorites won on the turf yet at Sam Houston.
How about that?
So 2 races.
Good to know. I mean, small sample size, but
Yes,
good to know.
very small.
Forward, so I'll be right back.
All right, Sarah will be back. I will chat pick 5 here. 2 races to go on the stream, and I'm on the 6, and I would say I'm pleased that this one is currently 2-1. Didn't really think we'd get win bet type value. I will say though, hearing the litany of picks that people have in this race, Sarah's on one, Jess is on another. My man Mike in Houston likes a certain other horse. The HR and Power picks agree with me on the 6. But all that to say, people are going in different directions. The charting horse value had the 3 with the 6 and the A column. That kind of empowers me a little bit to say, okay, yes, this is a wide open race, but maybe there's some added value in the pick 5, just planting the flag, especially here in the first leg. I've heard it a lot of times, especially from public handicappers. So the sentiment is out there, the psychological way that people wager is out there, that people do not want to go out in the first leg. So, this to me is a race where it certainly is competitive, certainly could go in a lot of directions. If you were maybe leaning on a decent price horse later in the pick 5, I could make a case for all makes sense here. And I might have a ticket that I do that because I am against 2 favorites in both races 7 and 8. So to me, that's some opportunity that I wouldn't want to eliminate here in the first leg. But the way people play these tickets, this is a very typical race where they're going to go deeper than maybe they should. And at 3-2, starting to get a little on the lower end with the 6. So it's about kind of playing that balance to me. If the win odds indicate, all right, lukewarm favorite, people are probably spreading, I'm going to be more inclined to single. Whereas if the horse were even money, taking a lot of money from 3-2. But if that were to happen, I'd want to recalibrate and say, okay, maybe this is one people are saying, well, I got a single somewhere, even money. Let's see if we can get through here. So that's kind of what I'm going through in my head in terms of plotting this pick 5. But I've said it multiple times, and I'm not totally sure that either one is going to be favored. But nevertheless, they are both favored on the morning line. I figure them to be on most tickets that use multiple horses in either leg. I'm not going to use them at all. I'm talking of the 4 horse in race 7 and the 4 horse in race 8. Race 7 in particular, the Quattro is a 2-1 favorite, and I don't like it all, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's more 5-2, 3-1, like co-favorites in that race, but going to toss the 4 in both races 7 and 8. Looks like we got some M&Ms and hard candy.
We're out of the good candy.
Yeah, we went through it quick with all the meetings this week. So just speaking to the pick 5 here, Sarah, I'm going to lean on the 6, I think mostly. Hopefully won't be any less than 3-2 though.
I think that's a mistake, but okay.
Candace likes the 8, so that's she's with Mike down in Houston.
Okay. What do you think of this buffet?
It's an array.
An array.
An array.
A buffet. What do you want?
I'll take the peanuts since that's come up already today.
All right, same.
So taking a look at the 6 now, Rye, who's had a very good start to the
he's
meet.
On fire.
Yeah, and Austin
teaming up together.
Very solid combo there. And Austin did not say that this horse can't win, which would give me a lot more confidence.
Absolutely. It's only because it was Austin Gustafsson, not Gustafsson.
Or
said it.
Gustafsson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of these fake people coming in and trying to swoop identities, all like the Sarah Elbadalis out there.
So what do you think? Why do you think the 3 is taking this kind of money? 'Cause I'm pretty
Steve.
surprised. That's it?
Yeah, I'm thinking about Secret Circle's sibling last week. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. That was on turf too, wasn't it?
It was.
No.
I don't like this horse. I don't like this horse at all. This horse finished behind
Certainly at
the
8 to
2,
5.
who is 25 to 1 right now, and is at 3 to 2. And I think that is the silliest thing of all.
Yeah. No, I found that, people kind of wonder, okay, where's the value
It's right there.
with racing, like, the computer teams and just smarter money and diluted pools. And I definitely think that's a concern. But, you have a Thursday at Sam Houston. The East Coast tracks have, I believe, wrapped up by now or close to it. Maybe Fairgrounds has a race left. But, nevertheless, people looking for action, they're popping in. And like you said, they see Mr. Steve and gravitate toward that horse. And 3 to 2, just no thanks.
No, I don't want this horse at 3 to 2 at all. And this horse can beat me in any sort of anything, because a horse that is 25 to 1, that I think is a better chance to win than the now 8 to 5 favorite that has already finished ahead of the current 8 to 5 favorite. Why wouldn't I take that horse?
Yeah, we're surprised. So
Shocked.
let's see.
No, I'm not really surprised, just connections wise.
Right. No, 8 to 5 though, and let's
7 to 2 morning line, now to 8 to 5.
let's see what the will pay say, because that might give a little better clue.
Ah, yes, the wheel pays. Pick 3 ends here.
The wood pays. Yeah, double wise, they're pretty close. Pick 3 wise, it's the 6 is about half what the 3 is in the pick 3. So I would, I guess, anticipate that 6 will probably end up being favored by a little. But in my mind, we are going to, well, not we, because you're so against the 6, but I am going to get a playable price on the 6, especially in terms of in a race where I do think people are spreading, willing to single here a little bit.
Would you be interested in considering the 2 in any way?
Yeah.
The 6 is also getting a shoe repair.
Oh, that's bad.
Why is that bad?
Just anecdotally, doesn't seem like those horses do well.
You think so? I wonder what the stats would be on that, if that's something Horse Racing Nation should look into.
It would definitely be helpful to know because, like I said, anecdotally, I don't love it. In my time at Churchill, when I would be surveying the paddock, I never could remember a horse who would win off a shoe repair. But
what else did I want to look at?
Once a week, maybe, and so
right for stats. Oh, I wanted to look at the stats of the horse that gets the best turned out award and how that they perform. I think that would be very interesting to take a look at. So maybe in our future, maybe in Horse Racing Nation's future, taking a look at some of those interesting things.
Yeah, at Keeneland they have it every race, I think. So
Santa Anita, Gulfstream.
Oh, do they do it there?
Yeah.
Wonder who will get it for the Pegasus.
What do you like in the Pegasus?
Life is good.
I do too.
Yeah,
that's an easy conversation.
We do have some good content in Horse Racing Nation about the Pegasus, so we're definitely ramping up on that. Taking a look at, I think, Speed Figures.
Lots of invitations.
Speed Figures was the latest metric when it comes to figuring out what the Pegasus will look like, but we'll have plenty more as time goes on. So make sure you're in tune with what we're doing on there. And I think
just putting together my Pick 5 ticket.
There we go. I think we've hit all the there's the trainer standings. Carl had a good first week, as did Steve. But as you would expect with those guys, they have overbet a little bit on Austin, 2 for 4. 2 other places, good impact there. And we're on them here. There's the jockeys. Rye is definitely continuing his strong start. The shippers, we talked last race about the Lone Star shipper, but that's somewhat being balanced out by a trainer who had some wins in January off layoffs from Lone Star. So as always, these stats are kind of dependent on some of the other movable parts. And then pace-wise, this is the lone turf race of the day. It looks kind of middle of the road, I guess. Be interesting to see the tactics. I don't think there'll probably be any excuse pace though. I mean, if
I agree.
you're on the front end and you have the horse, you should be able to, but it should be a well-run race, right?
I think so. I think that I can also do something really cool is that I can take a picture of my pick 5 ticket and we can upload it so that we can show people.
Let's do it.
I think that we could do that
Yeah.
on the fly right now, which would be super advanced. and
Slack it to
cool.
me. And
Oh, I was thinking I could just go on Restream, but I can do that too.
or you have the
I do have the login now. I'm getting
Yeah.
really
Mm.
engrossed in the horse racing nation community. And by community, there's what, 5 of us here? 6 of us
6.
here? What about the dogs?
Mm,
9?
Yeah.
Coots' favorite numbers.
He's not weighed in.
Where is he?
I don't know. It's a good question.
So this is going to be just called screenshot because I just took a quick screenshot. Just for now.
Now look at those kids playing
Oh.
frisbee.
Should we really be playing frisbee at the track?
Yeah. I mean, if you're there all the time, because you're right.
Fair enough. All right, cool. We upload my pick 5 ticket.
How about that?
How about
It's coming
that? There we go. That's a pretty good advancement for us.
on the fly. There it
On the
is.
fly. So
All right,
just an
I'm gonna
easy
write this
$10
down.
ticket. Just going with the 2 and the 7 to start off. So I'm leaving the favorite off in here to get a little bit of a value possibility for later. I really like the 2 at that price. That would be an incredible way to start off the sequence, especially if it ends up hitting, especially if we get 25 to 1. Using the 7 for a little bit of insurance. If not, I did think this horse was either the 3rd or 2nd likeliest winner to me. I'm really against the 6. 3 maybe wouldn't surprise me too much, but I prefer those 2. In the next race, I'm going to single the 4, Miss Americana. I know that Jess has a different opinion on that, but the 2 ran well enough for me to still feel confident that the 4 is going to run her race later. In the next race, I like the 4 and the 7, Lily's Bidness. Bidness? Seems like that's the name.
Business.
Bidness. You got to say it the right way. That's why. And then I also used the horse that Jess was interested in, Texas Ascot Queen at 10 to 1. We'll see what kind of price we get on that one, but her opinion made me be a little bit more influenced to throw that horse in. Singling, the same ideas as she has in race 8. I do like the favorite in there. I know Ed is against, but I do like Lasru. I think this horse has a big shot to win. And then spreading quite a bit more in the last leg. You got a lot of interesting first-time starters in there. The horse to me that had experience that looked like the likeliest winner was the 3. So big spread in the last to get it home, hopefully. But 2 singles, 2 2x2s, 2 2s, as you said. And then
No 2 in the last, huh?
No 2 in the last. So did you write it down? Did you take your notes?
I did write it down. Yeah.
Great. You'll
And
be able to tell
and
me
I
if
have
I'm
it
alive or not.
and I have it on my computer, so
All sorts of information.
somewhat covered either way. Oops. Oh, there we go. That's all right.
There we are. We only have one more race to talk about.
I know,
after
and
this.
that'll be the
Flew
pick
by.
4.
Really flew
It does
by.
go quick. Yeah.
Does. We're having so much fun. And
Let's
thank
see if
you.
we have any
I was going to
questions.
say thank you all for tuning in and having so much fun with us. What do we have in the chat?
Well, Josh and Mark need the 5 or 6 for the pick 3. So
Sorry, we disagree.
6 for me would be fine. So good luck to them. Sentient is going to play a double 6-7 with 5.
Okay.
The capper, who I'm not sure if that's the Paddock Prince or not, horse capper. I'm going to say no
Interesting.
based
Probably
on the logo. He agrees on the 5.
Okay.
And Patrick referenced the shoe repair, saying, "Would you run in new shoes too tight?" That's a good point. Not really sure how
I don't know that
shotting
equates
goes. Right.
to
That's.
the horse.
I see what he's
whatsoever.
saying though.
Breaking your new shoes.
Break-
I mean, they don't really have to do that in the same sense that we do.
Right. He also mentioned, and I'm glad he did, regarding the 6. I did think this kind of had a pedigree angle to it. I mean, the horse fit anyway, but steady diet of sprints on the turf and being by more than ready is kind of one of those, okay, why haven't they gone this route, pun intended? And sometimes you kind of overthink it, like, well, they must not think the horse can if they haven't. And to me, I always think back to Cigar and Mineshaft started their career on the turf and ran on it many times. And sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't know. You got to find
Yeah.
out.
So
Yeah.
we'll find out here. 6-5, though, I can understand why maybe some others won't be finding out. Or 7-5, I think it's okay. Again, I'm against two favorites in races 7 and 8. The 4, I like the 2 in the last. So I feel like I have some looks that I can narrow here.
We won't both win.
We won't?
No, I don't like the 2 in the last.
Well, I have other horses too.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, I interrupted. Tell me more about the rest of them.
I mean, the 2's my top pick, but the 3 or 6 are also on my ticket, so that would be our overlap.
All right.
That Steve horse, the debut runner, very interested to see what that does. I mean, it's one of those like runs to the pedigree in the barn, but at the same time it's January and you're debuting, and there's questions that come with that. So the board probably will tell the story.
It should.
But if you get your money in now, maybe you get a little bit of a premium versus odds on.
Now my horse is 30-1.
Did you bet to win?
I did. Actually, did I? I should. Okay.
Watch this.
Wow.
Candace.
What's the point of that?
Dazzled. I'm just amazed she
thought
came
of
up with how to
everything.
put it in the corner.
No, she really thought of everything. She's great.
Mark says the 4 at a price, the firster and the last, who
I put that one on my ticket.
yes, you did. And I marked down that it was a firster, was the extent of my handicapping thoughts on that one. I kind of thought maybe up against it, but
yeah. If this horse wins at 30-1,
if I go all A's until then, I'll
Okay.
have them all. So
all right. Fair enough. Let me see how I'm doing in my stable
Because-
competition.
2 of the 5 races, my A's do not include the favorite. I was kind of comfortable with like, okay, the last race, if the Steve isn't ready to run, I have a 12-1 on top. Do you find yourself, that's something I know a lot of horse players talk about. I'm susceptible to it too. Like, oh, I like a 12-1. Do you kind of think like, well, I think the race might blow up. Maybe my horse won't win, but I want to use all the long shots?
No, I don't think like that.
You don't?
No.
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. I think sometimes
You like who you like, right?
I think sometimes I'll go back and be like, the profile for a certain horse that I like, that was the right idea. Like in the Preakness last year, I thought it set up well for a horse that was coming from off the pace, and I went totally wild and picked Ram as a long shot in there. And it did set up well for a horse coming from off the pace, but that horse was Rombauer. So right idea, wrong individual.
Right.
It was a very bad break for the 8.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a tough start for Mikey C.
Indeed. So we'll see what happens in here. We have the 5 going out to the lead, which is the horse that Jess was interested in, taking to the turf for the first time. 6 is kind of pressing that pace. We'll see how legitimate that pace is or not. But as she said, she felt speed was going to do fairly well on the turf, as it did last week for opening night with Screwball. He ended up being second. So she's got the right idea so far.
6 might just be better.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
See if they trade punches here.
Or what happens. Yeah, 5's coming back a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's
And then you have the 2 and the 7 well placed in there.
they're going pretty quick, I'd say.
Yeah. 3's kind of being asked. I'm not really doing anything yet, but just might be behind horses for right now. The 8's recovered decently from that bad start. I'll give some credit there. We'll see what happens going into the turn. 3's going to need a way out. I don't know if we're going to find it. Yeah, I had to take up a little bit there. So not the best trip right now for the 3. 2's got run if she's
How
good
about
enough.
the 2 over the top?
She's got to run if she's good enough. We'll see what happens, but she's already being asked. I got some hopes for the 7, possibly. You're on the lead right now, though. Just
Hopefully
a
not on
terrible
the
trip
wrong
for the
lead.
3. Terrible trip for the 3.
Yeah, he's been bobbing and weaving. I mean, got through.
Oh, finally got through. Here comes the 7, though. Come on, 7. Come on. 3 finally got through. If 3 wins, much the best here. Yeah, 3's got it.
Wow.
Yeah. Steve on the turf.
Good day
2
for
for
Stuart
2 on
Elliott.
Thursdays. Yeah.
Steve, yeah. People may not associate with turf, but it's Sam Houston.
He's rocking it.
Rules the roost.
Yeah.
That's 3 for Stu.
Very nice.
7-2. Not
Not favored.
favored.
But the 6, kind of like, not to say that I was right about this horse completely because she ran okay enough. However, or he ran okay enough. Are these fillies mares? These are males. But based on what we saw from this horse before up at Woodbine, this horse should have been much the best of this field. And so when a horse is taking such a drop in class like that, it's something that you have to at least be like, why?
Well, oops, wrong race.
Did you use the 3?
I used the 3 on
One of
the
them?
other ticket.
Okay. The other ticket.
Now I'm all A though to close it out. So, but
Well,
that's how it goes.
it does. That's how the cookie crumbles.
That's right. So Daddy made me do it, did it. Stu's 3rd, Steve 2nd, right?
I think, yeah.
Pick 5 underway,
Yeah.
and
Malibu Midnight
I'm
had a
very
shot
thin.
and just dropped back. So
Jess is out, I guess. You're out.
yeah. I had Gastown who was 2nd. So
Yeah, 5-1. That would have been all right.
yeah. But 3 was much the best with all that traffic. Just finally got through and probably would have won by quite a bit more if the horse had daylight before that. So $103,000 in the pick 5 pool.
Really? 103? A little less than last week, but
It's to be expected, yeah.
is it?
Well, from opening night of a track versus the next week.
Yeah.
I think opening night is always kind of like
I bet
opening night.
I bet a little less too. So
That must be you.
well, no, but I feel like I'm Joe Public, so if I bet a little less, then that's probably the trend.
Absolutely.
Congrats to Patrick. We mentioned a lot of picks that did not pan out, but he did give out the 3 in the chat. So well done, sir, on that one. And 7-2 for a horse who was favored for a little bit. Definitely took some money. Seemed well met from that perspective to end up with 7-2. Not too bad over 5-1 as well. So
these are fillies and mares. So
if you were not a believer in the 6, not too bad on top or the exacta. Excuse me.
I was gonna say maybe the 6 is one of my horses that I mentioned next week for the weekly recap of horses I was against at a short price.
Yes,
That was true.
Definitely.
She did hit the board though, but
yeah, but
7-5.
when it's a 12% takeout on all the Maltese and you can beat a 7-5, that's
a good deal.
That's good information. So
this is our last race together.
this is it. Last race. Well, until next week.
Until next time. Should we talk about some of Jess's ideas for race 6 and on, so we can get her information out there, since this will be the last time that we're showing any of our ideas.
That's right.
Before a race.
So we have, and again, we won't be able to talk over hers, which that's
good.
Less detrimental since the video itself has talking. But let's see, race 6, right?
You should be able to see race 6 from her. It might be, one of the last ones I uploaded. Yep. So.
All right. So Sarah and Jessica chatted earlier today. So that's what this is regarding race 6, start of the pick 4, rolling pick 3s continue. And we'll be back after that.
Thank you so much for joining me to talk Sam Houston, a Thursday card, 1 week after opening week. And thank you for your time. Jessica Paquette's going to be doing her own stream for Sam Houston this evening, and she has some ideas for the early pick 5.
I believe there's only one pick 5 that starts in race 5. But I have thought early, late, it's a little bit of everything. I have thoughts. It's a really solid card. I thought this one was fun to handicap. Race 5 starts out on the turf, and there aren't.
Oops, wrong one.
It said race 6.
It did. Puzzling. Well, that was the last one to upload, so we might not have her thoughts on race 6. No. But she did like the number 3 in here, Too Much Irish. She wasn't a big fan of the 4, Miss Americana. She said that it was very important to watch what happened with Miss Empowerment early on. To me, that horse ran well enough that I would still use the number 4 in here, but maybe this is a tougher field since this is, an allowance field. They're going a mile. This horse is coming off that win. We'll see what happens. I like this horse still, but she was pretty against.
Well, we want to give Jessica some thoughts, so we'll get back to ours in race 6, but there is a pick 4 here. We somewhat know what she had based on the cold ticket with her picks, but race 7 I'm interested in because I'm against the favorite. Is that the one you like, the favorite, or the 8 was?
No. I like the number 4 in race 7. Jess is very against the favorite in race 7. We could show her thoughts on that. She
Yes.
liked a bit of a price in there.
I definitely want to. I think the pick 4 has opportunity with those favorites being against. So
Texas Ascot Queen gets a little bit of a class test here. This is not an easy group by any means. I think this is one of the saltier races on the card. You can make a case for a lot of these fillies. But Lane Luzzie, J.R. Caldwell, again, live connections. Our maiden one was good. She showed a lot in her debut. 4th, not a bad effort. Green, and then came back, ran very well. This is her first time in for a tag, so I think she looks pretty conservatively spotted for her comeback off of a bit of a layoff.
You get a nice price there too, at 10-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, take a swing.
Right.
Big long shot.
big long shot.
Maybe her long shot pick will do better than mine did in the last race.
Yeah. I mean, you beat the favorite.
I did. Yeah. Did I
Incremental.
really though?
Well, right. That's true.
Should we talk about the rest of the races on the card while we have a minute?
Yeah.
Race 8, that's the one where she and I both like the favorite. I know that you're against the favorite here,
I
though.
am.
Who do you like?
I have the 2 on top, which my man Mike also agrees with, and then 1, 2, 3 are my A's, so to speak. And that, I have to be honest, the 4 and 6 both fit, but this was one of those. Okay, we spent all this time talking about speed inside. Here's an opportunity in a dirt sprint where I do think the inside horses are right there with the favorite, and they're more ideally drawn. The track profile is in their favor. I kind of thought it was an opportunity to sort of draw a line in the sand and say, yes, I'm going to go against the favorite and use the horses that fit the profile.
Interesting. Do we want to roll Jess's tape for this one?
Roll tape.
Roll the tape. For
Race 8, right?
That's the one.
Right there.
That's it.
All right, take it away.
Who do you like?
Eating Shock. Last row, I think, is awfully tough to get past here. This is my single for this multi-race sequence. Again, 12% takeout on the horizontals. If you are playing, it is the most horse player friendly track out there.
Absolutely.
Last row, did everything right last time, delivered as the favorite. I have a hard time getting past this one for Brett Calhoun.
All right. Thank you, Jess. Sarah will be right back. That was Jess's thoughts on race number 8, where she is on board, as is Sarah, with the favorite in there. And I mean, I get it. I think the horses, in my mind, I would say as likely as the others I have in my A column, but definitely typically I'm not looking to play the favorite when I think they're just as likely to perform well as others in the race. So to me, that's a separator opportunity. I was kind of wondering, okay, is the 4 really going to be favored in race 7? Kind of felt like maybe a flat board co-favorite situation. I was thinking maybe the same in race 8 as well, but with Sarah and Jessica both on board, and I've seen some others pick as well, that gives me a little more confidence that, okay, if I'm trying to beat that horse in the pick 4, I'm actually going to be compensated for it, versus you get to that race, you toss completely, and then they end up being the third choice, and you're like, well, I probably could have done something with that, especially given that I do like number 2 in the last, who's 12-1 on the morning line. So definitely some pick 4 options. Definitely would love to get to a situation where I'm able to be live to some of the prices in the last. It all starts here in the 6th. And this is the one of 2 races on the day where the pace report from Horse Racing Nation actually designated as a hot pace, this being the hottest at 86. It's not quite a 2-100 scale. It can go over 100, but basically the higher the number, the faster the projected pace. And especially at this mile distance, where I thought we saw some interesting tactics earlier on the card at the route, I'm very interested to see how this unfolds with the hot pace projected. And I did not clip it, but one of the features of the pace reporters is actually will give you a projected pace setter, which in the case of slow paces, you would say, okay, I'll upgrade that horse. And in the case of fast paces, maybe you say they're going to be a little more up against it. And in this case, just looking at the pace, I think the 4 either has a chance to blitz him going a mile and can run away with it, or the hot pace catches up to him, and that's where I thought the 6 had maybe the best chance of the rest. So one of those either or. They're the only 2 I used in the A column. They're the only 2 I'm live to after that 5th race. So it's 4-6 for me here, and at these prices would say that I prefer the 6. So I did pick on top, expecting the 4 to take a little more money. And these are the pick 3 will pays. 4 is the clear favorite, $55 to that one. The 5 is actually the second choice. Don't want to say that's surprising necessarily, but when you look at the doubles, the 5 and 6 very close together, along with the 3 much flatter in that regard. Whereas in the pick 3, some pretty clear definition. 5, 3, 6. So in my mind, that means the 6 is live in the doubles, and we'll see what price we ultimately get on the win end. 3-1. I think the board probably has it right on that one. Would be willing to play at that price, but based on the doubles, not sure we'll get it. Sarah's back,
Here I am.
and I think we just have to go over the last race, which I happen to think is the most interesting. Maiden special weight, Asmussen, first-time starter. Mark chimed in the chat. He actually likes the 4 a little bit. He was going to be a big price you used in your pick 5. Just
Doesn't
5.
exist anymore.
Yeah, that's out. Well, they do pay 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Which when you only put $10 into it, actually has a chance to do something.
Right. Skinny tickets for the win.
In my case here, I'm definitely going to need to hit, barring some. I guess if the 2 won the last, that could be something. Anyway, some first-time starters. Some horses who have already run. I think it's a very competitive race unless one of the debut runners are ready to roll. Steve's would seem to be maybe the most likely of that, but you used the 4, so tell me about that one.
This horse is out of Golden Sense, Sentiment to Mischief. So you can think, to me, when I think of Golden Sense Offspring, I think of a little bit of early speed. I don't know if that's necessarily based on anything specific, but I think I've seen enough of his offspring have a little bit of precocity and a little bit of early speed going on. So I use this horse in my pick 5 just as kind of like maybe a price play. Maybe this horse is ready to go. Maybe Steve's horse runs their race but needs one or something like that. And then I think this is you that said this the other day, that none
Me?
of Gun Runner's 3-year-olds
said it
have
today.
won yet.
Yeah, which is more admittedly a novelty stat than, okay, what can I actually do with this? But
the 6 is by Gun Runner.
Right.
So something interesting.
I do think it gets you. The reason I mention it isn't that, you can't use a gun runner in January until they win. Of course, that's, I don't think, practical. But I do think it sort of makes you think, okay, is there, this is a very high priced stallion. They want him to stand for a lot of money. It's best horses, many of which I'm sure are with Steve, given the connections and such. So is there sort of an ebb and flow of, okay, the ones that were ready to run, they wanted to win it too. Really helps the freshman sire stuff, blah, blah, blah. Now that he's 3, ones that they thought they could get a win right out of the box.
I also want to ask you, do you know off the top of your head if any of his really promising 2-year-olds have come back to race as 3-year-olds yet? Probably not.
No.
So
mostly
there we go.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. No, and again, not like.
But it's of note after so much success with
at a short price. Okay, it gets you thinking. All right, is there just sort of a cyclical thing to, when this particular crop came of age, so to speak, and
right.
Even money, maybe that's enough to say, oh, I can take a shot against, or you could say, oh, that's stupid DeRosa. What's he giving this stat out for?
I would never call you stupid.
Well, I appreciate that.
Some other people on Twitter might not feel the same way.
That's true.
It is.
So.
Our last
number 7
race.
here, 6-1.
What do you think about this horse? I didn't really think a ton. This horse is coming in from a turf try. 3rd last time, or the best by our speed figure was a 3rd on the turf.
Yeah, no, it just didn't show up in the stuff I look at.
Yeah.
One of those at 15-1, you're like, I mean, I think it's a competitive group, so I'm definitely not jazzed about 9-5 going forward. I mean, in the pick 5, I'll be happy to advance, just being too deep. But
the 6 is taking quite a bit of money.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's what I was talking about this when you absconded for a second, but
I have to let the dog.
yeah, no, better than the alternative.
It surely is.
The now up to 4-1, which I kind of thought maybe could be there price wise, but
Trey thinks the
the
6 is interesting too.
the doubles seem to indicate the 6 is going to be right there with the 3 and was it the 5? I guess 3, 5, and 6. So
I'm gonna throw a little win money on the 6.
I like it. There's a late pick 4 from an unidentified individual. They're going 6, 7.
Are you sure it's not you?
It's not me because I'm 4-6 in the 6th, 5-6 in the 7th,
It's gone now.
and it's gone. But that
$16
ticket had the 4 in both spaces, so that gives me
A little hope.
a little hope that okay, if everyone's using the 4 and races 7 or 8, then maybe I can make something happen here. The 4 is now the even money favorite.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of saw what I did earlier, or they're just betting Stort and Steve.
Shout out to Dennis Truss. He just signed on.
Oh, welcome.
Must be fresh off the shift at Churchill, keeping them all safe out there.
Safe
Appreciate
and
his
secure.
work. Trey's fave play of the day. He's on
on the
Tahitian
7.
Breeze. Yeah.
Tahitian or Tahitian?
Tahitian. Did I say Tahitian?
I think
Did
so.
I?
I think so. I don't know.
Tahitian Breeze.
That's what I heard.
Not sure what the image is trying to convey there.
Maybe he's going to the machine to place a wager.
No, it was an ATM.
Maybe he's going to go get some cash to place
Like
his
I had to
wager.
do earlier.
Yeah.
Don't get shut out, Trey. Make
Yeah,
sure you
he's
get
on
your.
it. You
make
can
sh-
see him there making sure that he gets his cash to get his wager on track, probably. So good for him.
Absolutely. Well, no ADW in Texas.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
What are you going to do? You're going to have to prepare ahead of time when you visit.
VPN.
What's that mean?
Like, I forget what it stands for. Something network
Oh.
where like you pretend you're somewhere else.
Okay. So you're lying.
Not lying. I mean, it's all in the ether.
Yeah. You're out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm out there.
You're out there.
Any other? The capper disappointed about the last race with the 5 and 6 dueling, and then he went to watch hockey. So
Okay. Bye.
Candace likes the 3. Yeah, another race where
Just likes 3 too, so maybe they're onto something.
no shortage of
Lots
various
of opinions in
yeah.
here.
I would say at these prices, I guess I'm more warm to the 5 than I was coming in.
I'm gonna add more money to my account so I don't get shut out.
Yeah, don't get shut out.
I love being able to feed my account now. It's like I have a job or something.
That doesn't pay cash.
It does not, but that's fine. When I worked at the last restaurant that I worked at, all of your cash tips, they would be yours that evening, but they
Right.
switched over to all of your credit card tips being in your check. So then we got actual paychecks
Oh.
that were actually taxed. And
Right.
so it was all very, like a regular job. But when you're used to getting cash that evening right away, and then you make that switch to most of your funds being in a paycheck where taxes are taken out ahead of time, it's very different.
Well, you know the IRS likes its pound of flesh.
We know Uncle Sam is coming for you, but always tip in cash if you can. It's another tip that I have to offer on this live stream here.
A tip.
Yep, a tipping tip. A
Tip
tipping
in
point.
cash. That makes sense. The place across the street prefers cash.
What place?
Maine?
Do you tip there?
I do not.
We're going to have to start tipping that guy. He's very nice.
I feel like there's no tip jar.
But
which
there is a jar.
I have contributed to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not a tip jar.
No,
That's a charity
it's not.
jar.
It's a charity
Yeah.
jar.
But in
He
lieu
gave
of
me
tip.
a cookie.
Yeah, that was
What a
nice.
nice guy.
That was nice.
What is his name?
Dave.
David.
David.
Main Street Deli?
Eatery, I think.
Eatery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Matt's a fan. I'm not
Yeah.
sure Ron's ever been there.
Really?
Yeah.
I talked to Ron earlier.
You did. You were on his podcast. Yeah. Refresh everyone while they're hitting the like button. Refresh
And subscribing.
everyone's memory on the podcast you're on this week.
Oh God, it's a plethora of pods. And then I said to Ed, in his vein of humor, that I was going to have to start outrun the pods, but there are just way too many pods available at the moment, and so everyone will have to wait for the day that I have my own outrun the pods, and I think everyone will be better for it. But Last night, I talked to Caitlin Free and Andy Villanueva. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Nice job.
Wow. Okay, go me. Who were a delight to chat with, and it was a nice casual conversation. I had a glass of wine, ate some pizza, and we just, talked about me and Caitlin and what it's like coming into this industry. And we made a lot of fun of Ed, which was the best part of that podcast of all. So that's available now. Link for that is on my Twitter. Andy and Caitlin tweeted about it as well. So plenty of places to find that one. I listened to it this morning while I was getting ready and laughed at myself, which you should always be able to do. Then earlier this morning, I had the privilege of chatting with Andrew, not Josh, for the Who's Got the Action podcast, which is now available on the Horse Racing Nation website as well.
Oh.
We did talk a little bit about some of the races that are going on right now, but we mostly talked about like my style of handicapping, how I got into this industry, what different things I look at when I'm trying to figure out what's going on in a race, what things that we're looking at Horse Racing Nation as well, some of our ideas for the future, some of the products that we offer. So it was a great chance to kind of figure out like what the game plan is going forward for us as well as myself and how I'm evolving as a handicapper. And then I talked to Ron very shortly after that. So I've spent a lot of time talking today. It's probably the most time I spent listening to myself all day. And I can't wait to go home and not listen to myself anymore.
Get the lozenge going.
Yeah, absolutely. I got my mouth spray over there. So I was prepared for a very long day of chatting. But Ron and I had the opportunity to discuss a couple races coming up on Saturday. I picked 3 8th races at Aqueduct, Oaklawn, and Santa Anita.
The 8th race?
All the 8th race. So it's easy to
remember. So you already have one race down for your mandatory payout.
I do, which that article's due by noon tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah. That's all you have in the morning, though.
Yeah, I'll have plenty of time in the morning. That'll be easy enough. So we do talk about one of the races in the sequence for the mandatory payout coming up at Santa Anita on Saturday. We talk about the return of Concert Tour coming up in the listed stakes in Oaklawn. I think that's a pretty stacked field, and I'm actually very against Concert Tour in there. And then we also talked about a race for state-bred fillies, newly turned 3-year-olds at Aqueduct. I think that's a pretty interesting field in there. I do like the favorite in there, but there's a lot of horses doing something new for the first time, whether it's facing winners, whether it's stretching out, whether it's changing from the turf to the dirt. So I thought that was a pretty interesting race, kind of a wide variety of different things available. And now I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So
a lot of chat.
A lot of chat.
And I'm going to be on John Englehart's Winning Ponies at 8:30 tonight.
Tonight? Wow, you've had a full day too.
So yeah, a lot of chatter.
The fun never stops.
That's right. Well, we love what we do.
We do.
So the 4 6 to 5. Mark chimed in the chat and is astonished that the 2 at the time was 24 to 1. So you must be thrilled at 30 to 1 currently.
Absolutely.
I don't see it, but I did pick Grass Queen earlier, so I'm not gonna poo-poo.
Can't talk anyone off a horse like that.
Not at all. 30 to 1, there isn't much you need to like at that price. So I would definitely say though the 6 at 7 to 2 for me here to close it out. Hopefully get one more winner. Who's your top pick?
The 4 was my top pick. I am a little interested in the 6 from a couple of things I saw in the paddock, which isn't really anything I could fully explain, but just the way that she was walking around. I don't want to, sound like a fool saying things that aren't true or offend any trainers or anything like that with my paddock information until we sort of fine-tune the way that I speak about horses from things that I see. But I took a little bit of interest in that horse, especially with all the money she's taking. So I have some money to win on that horse. I have an exacta with that one and the 4. We just did a $5 straight exacta 6-4. So
6-4. I like it. All right. Pick 4 starts here.
How are you playing?
I don't think I can use the 4 at this price.
No.
I guess this would be an example of putting the time into. I'm against the 4 in the next 2 races. So if the 4 wins here, I like the 2 in the last, who's a price. I mean, you could say, well, you and Mark both mentioned the 4 in the last also should be a price. Like, okay, if the 4 wins here, I can get through the next 2 legs pretty cheap. I'm 2x3 in the A column, and then some prices in the last. So that makes some sense, but definitely want to avoid like using 3 or 4 here, including the 4, and put myself in a position to chalk out. So mainly focusing on the 6, and then played around with some other combinations where lean on the 2 and 3 in the last, and I'm just figuring Steve's going to take a bunch of money.
Something I will say really quick as far as like walking over to the gate, you see how the 7 is super lathered on their chest, and then also the 5
Also the
in
5,
comparison to the 8 and the 4. When you see something like that and you see all of the sweat on these horses in comparison to other horses that aren't really sweating at all, that's something I take note of and I kind of like view as a negative. If they're getting super hot and bothered when other horses are not, it means that
Right.
they're kind of the outlier or the like exception to the rule here. I don't know exactly what the weather is right now at Sam Houston, but if the horse is getting super sweaty and
Can't
worked up
be
before
that.
a race, yeah, that's kind of a negative to me. Whereas also if it's a warm day and they're not sweating, that's something I would use as a negative as well. Sweat's important.
What about the consistency of sweat?
Like for a specific horse?
Yeah.
Yeah, some things like this will be something that's said over and over again by a variety of people, but just what's normal for them. And I think that that's something that comes into play a lot of like, is this horse a horse that usually gets super worked up before a race? Is this horse always very quiet before a race? Whatever you're seeing, that is just who they are. If then something is different about that, you could think that their performance might be different based on that as well.
All right. Well, we'll watch this race and then we'll wrap up.
Sounds good to me. I'm not Ed, just like Jess isn't
No.
Sarah.
Twitter handles are accurate, though.
Good. So, have you picked any winners?
One. We had the 2 and the 4.
We did. We shared one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
And the 6 looks like a winner now.
We just started.
Oh.
We got time. That was not a good move there. The 2's on, or no, sorry.
65,000.
Yeah, the 2's on the lead for Mark.
Wow. Mark's going to get a thrill.
We'll hear it.
Down to the snapper.
Yep. Do you find yourself yelling at the TV if you are watching a race? Because I do sometimes.
It's usually, yeah. No, I excuse me.
I got too excited.
It's not consistent, though.
No.
I'm not like automatically a yeller,
Mm.
old or otherwise.
I've actually never seen that movie. I know what happens.
Me
though.
neither. Does he die?
No,
Oh.
don't ruin it.
Well, I feel like if you haven't seen it by now.
I'm never gonna watch it.
Right.
Right. Well, the 4 has taken the lead. We'll see what kind of action happens now. Who likes the 8? Didn't someone like the 8 in the chat?
Don't remember the 8.
No, maybe not. The 4 is done.
4 is done. 5 waited way too long.
Yep. 6 kind of ran evenly, nothing to write home about. I would never come up with this horse. A surprise to end the evening.
It wasn't impossible, but 11-1.
See, we should be flat betting all the 10-1 or higher.
There it is. That finally came in.
Information that is very valuable and holding true.
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure how many have been tonight.
Well, there's only been 6 races, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Doing some excellent
12,
counting.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So you're still down
For tonight.
for tonight, but still up overall. Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
Disappointed. I mean, for me, I would say that horse wasn't impossible. So
I would have never come up with that horse.
I don't know.
So that's fair enough.
I guess just kind of depending how I feel about if what happens the rest of the way. Maybe I'll be like, I could have found a way to use that horse.
Yeah,
But overall, I would just say I was wrong.
I never would have come up with a 5 either. So dead wrong about that race. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Sometimes you're just wrong, and that's okay.
Yep, 77,000 in the pick 4. Not too bad there.
Very nice.
And well, that'll do it. We'll do it again next week, though.
Sounds good. I haven't
Sam
been fired
Houston.
yet.
No, you haven't. Me
Pretty
neither.
impressive.
I haven't been
you're
here
doing
that
really
long
great.
either.
I know. I remember I asked you for a job here before you started working here.
That's right. Yeah.
And you're like, let me start my
Yeah,
job
let's
first.
see what happens first. So, but here we are, and we appreciate you being here. Last chance before I think you can still like it, I guess, once it's archived. But why wait? Do it now.
Smash
Like,
that like button.
subscribe. All those good stuff. We appreciate the comments, the chat. Appreciate you being with us, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.